Hi. This conversation is going to take the most unusual path you could ever imagine. So stay tuned because, I think we should consider this. Meanwhile, we're just going to have a look at the jet streams today all around our world, because this is really one of the biggest problems that we are facing. As you can see, interchange with the polar jet streams at 60 degrees north and south, mixing with the tropical jet streams at 30 degrees north and south. And we'll have a little look around to see if there's any interaction today over the equatorial region. Not much today, like there are usual, because we do see interchange between the two subtropical regions, both 30 degrees north, 30 degrees south, across the equator, where the jet streams just come straight ripping over the equator into the southern hemisphere and vice versa. I know the video is going to be a little bit out of sync, but I'll give you, a good idea of what's going on with our world. So there's your northern hemisphere going over to the southern hemisphere. So this, on a whole, is causing the majority of the problems. This is what is shutting down good agricultural land around our world. And I suppose the conversation starts with the problems, and in order to understand these problems, we also have to counter into the equation the massive corruption which is taking place on our planet right now, with just a few people. And what I'm talking about is this massive cover-up which is going on right now. They are not telling us the truth, and the excuses or the reasons they're giving us for climate change is so that they can justify waxing their own pockets rich. I won't go into much detail, but I'm sure you can imagine where there are trillions of pounds of taxpayers' money. There are the mafia, and that largely stems from organisations like the United Nations and the European Union. Organisations like this that have not been elected by a single person within any single country, yet they are dictating to every country now, like the global world order, as you would expect them to be classified as. That is exactly how they are going about their business, and trust me, it is working perfect for them. This whole agenda about climate change is completely 180 degrees from the truth. If they say it's hot, then trust me, it's cold. If they say it's way in the sky, trust me, it's right down on the ground. They are complete liars. They're not telling you the truth about really what is causing climate change. But there is something that is not being factored into all this, and you cannot deny it anymore, because even the governments around the world have had to come out and accept and admit and relay it to the general public. Even though they have done, not in great detail, they have committed themselves to it. And that is, I'm going to blow you away with this now, the acceptance of unidentified objects, flying objects. Yeah, I know what you're thinking right now, but this has been accepted now, and it's been made public. And they have came out and said, look, we've got these things flying around, we don't know where they come from, and we don't know who is behind the the navigating of these vehicles. But what they do demonstrate is capabilities beyond our technological advancement at this point. We have to think about this, because let's face it, the technology is way beyond ours. If they have even come from outside our solar system, they've already demonstrated technology that we have not got. at this point in time. Just the manoeuvrability of these vehicles that has been witnessed by Air Force pilots, ordinary commercial pilots across the ranges, just defies anything that we have an understanding of in forms of technology. Yet they're here. I will make some assumptions on this. They're not here, obviously, to cause us harm, because they could have done that already. So you have to ask the question then, why are they here? What is bringing them here? What interests do they have? And I've thought about this, and I've discussed it with some friends, trying to understand why they don't have any interactions with us. But yet they seem to be, always in the vicinities of, military infrastructure. They are regularly spotted by, military aircraft. So there is obviously no coincidence by, that fact. I'd like to know what your opinions are in the comment section on this, because we're at a big point in our lives where our world is changing dramatically. And it's my opinion. I think that they're interested in the planet. I don't think they give two hoots for human beings. They just don't want us to destroy something rare. I think that's what they're here for. I think they're here for the planet. They want to make sure that this planet remains a habitable place for all the biodiversity on it, not just human beings. Because right now we are doing the worst job we have ever done as being good stewards on this planet. We're polluting the seas. We are making species extinct before we've even discovered them. And we are literally wiping our arse with this beautiful planet that gives us life, the opportunity to thrive. And I know that that's so far away from, the majority of your daily life's, experience. You go up, you go to work, on the forefront of your minds, it's the same as everybody else's. We've got to pay the bills. We've got to put food on the table. We've got to make sure our kids go to school and university and other things like that. That's what's on the majority of the, our minds, making sure that we make ends meet every day, every week, every month. But this world is changing before our very eyes. We're in rare times now. Maybe these people that are visiting, or these beings that are visiting from other worlds, are keeping a close eye on our planet because of the changes it's going through right now. And even the so-called experts, even myself, we don't know the full extent of what could be down the road. Okay, we've got a benchmark at the 17th of this month, but if you're expecting dramatic changes on that day, don't delude yourselves. Things don't work out like that. We could, from that point in time, start to see changes. But we will already have noted that the changes are already starting to take place. Agricultural land around our world is going offline simply because, the climate is shifting. You expect a good season for crops. It doesn't happen. You change your tactics for the year after. It fails. Eventually, you start going for the crops that you can get out of the ground. And even that goes wrong. And every time there's a cost involved that is taking it out of your pocket if you're a farmer. If you're one of these people that, adds to the food basket of the world. Going offline before our very eyes. You'll see no public announcements made of this in any of the mainstream media because they have an agenda. And sadly, it is for selfish reasons of their own. They just want to make money. They want to put their conscience in a closet and ignore the fact of what is happening right now is not just damaging our world, it's damaging people on a grand scale. Maybe, these people that are visiting our world are here to observe a unique event. Has anyone ever given that any thought? Because let's face it, they're not here to interact with us. They have no interest in interacting with us. If any government around the world claims that they are working with a species off this planet, then straight away you should know that they are lying. Because there is no species from anywhere else in this universe that would have anything to do with the corrupt politicians around the world, because they know what is going on. They're here maybe just to monitor and make sure we don't screw up even more than what we are. Because as the most intelligent, although we claim to be, species on this planet, we are doing a disastrous job. A real disastrous job. Ocean patches bigger than the size of Texas now, 6 or 7 of those in our oceans around the world. All sorts of contaminated waste that ends up in the digestive systems of the fish, and in turn we eat those, so they end up in our digestion systems, and we can't digest it as much as what those species can't digest. We're destroying the marine infant lands around these coral reefs and things like that. The nurseries of the ocean. We're seeing species as a process of the earth going through a magnetic migration. We see entire wipeouts of colonies of sea life creatures washing up on our coastlines. And we think that we're moving in the right direction by going fully electric with everything. I mean, it's just ridiculous. What we've managed to do is shift child labour from the diamond industry to the cobalt and lithium industry. The environmental impact it is having on these locations where this stuff is being mined is not being covered by the mainstream media, because it's a dirty business. If you own a Tesla, you've helped contribute to the destruction of these environments where this is being processed, because they cannot get it out of the ground quick enough. They've got their unrealistic targets of 2030 being carbon zero. Well, in the last 15 to 20 years that they've been working on this, they've only managed about 8%. And then we have 7 years left. They reckon they can make up 92% in 7 years, when they couldn't do it in 15 to 20 years. And all they managed to achieve was 8%. You see, it's not about targets. It's not about CO2 targets. Because if that's the case, they need to extend that date from 2030 to, at the rate they're going, to probably, another 150 years. Because they just won't meet it. Anyone with common sense that does a bit of math can work it out. I want to thank those people that have been supporting us to this point in time, and I just want to remind you that you might have chipped in a few bucks here at this observatory, and what that might have done is save somebody's life. Do you realise that? And it might have also saved somebody losing their entire wealth, or it could have easily saved somebody losing their inherited land that has been passed down from generation to generation. You might have prevented them losing that. They may have listened to some of the things that we've discussed on here and took action. But there's still the majority of people that watch these videos that are dormant, despite all what is going on. They still take everything for granted. You know, so long as I'm sure they see the sun in the sky, then that's reassurance that everything is okay. As long as it comes up tomorrow, the day after, you know, that'll be it for them. That'll be enough. And their little bubble of problems is the only concern they have, because they can't think out that bubble. Because if they did, I don't think we would have ever allowed these corrupt people to take control to the levels that they have, whereas they are now sinking the entire human race with their rubbish and their policies. You know, I'll give you some things to think about there, guys, today. And I'm going to leave it here. Just mention that there is a link there if you want to help support somebody that is prepared to do something about it, prepared to talk about it, prepared to show the facts. If you can't yourself, then support somebody that will do it. You can support us here at the observatory. You know, we are fighting a losing battle at the moment, because the odds are massively stacked against us. And we need help, simple as that. There's a link down there, guys, if you want to help support what we do. I'll say what I usually do. You take care of your loved ones. As always. Bye for now.